beef with the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Now, you sometimes hear people say the education system is broken in this country. The education system is broken in this Commonwealth. I'm not going to get into Common Core. I'm not going to get into what's being taught in your classrooms, what's not being taught in the classrooms, how useful Calc 3 is versus like a basic accounting class. The fact that some school districts funnel kids into AP classes they don't belong in because they just like having the designation of being an AP school. No, we're not going to go there. We are not going to talk about the fact that so many school districts, especially in southeastern PA, really do force a lot of kids that don't belong in AP classes into AP classes where they ultimately score like a 2 on the exam, but the school gets to feel good. Oh, we sent so many children into the AP program. Look at yeah, okay. We're not going to do that. We could do that another day. We could talk about the fact that Calc 3 is largely useless unless you're going into 1 or 2 fields. And that, like, there's no reason that a kid that's going to be going to college for journalism should be tracked into Calc 3 because it's dumb. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to hold that one off to the side. We'll come back to that another day. No, I'm going to just simply point out how absolutely fucked the state of education is right now. And not for the kids, not for the students. I mean for the teachers. Because one of my good friends has been a very dedicated teacher at the high school level. And he now becomes, by my count, my calculations, the 15th teacher that I know personally that has left teaching since 2021. 15th. 14 of the 15 are people who graduated with me or like a year or 2 after. So we're not talking about your hardened, grizzled 20-plus year vets, although one does come to mind, who asked for my advice and my help when he decided he wanted to leave teaching and leaned on me for some help, which was great, helped him. Now he's like working in the private sector. He's happy. I'm working in the private sector. I'm happy. 14 of the 15 people I know personally that have left teaching since 2021 all graduated around 2012 to 2014 or 2015. They've all left. Good teachers, committed teachers, teachers that you would be happy to have if you were a student, teachers that you could rely on to do a good job if you were a parent or a taxpayer. They've all left. Why have they left? They've left because of unsupportive administration, stupid directives from people that have to justify their jobs at the district level, parents that go above their head without reaching out directly, go to administration, or decide they're going to contact the superintendent instead. That's how insane some parents are. They've all left education. Why? Because the conditions suck. Because there's legitimate burnout. Because for as fun as it is to say teachers have the summer off, I will tell you that in a lot of cases, they deserve the summer off. If you were talked to in as demeaning of a way as many of your friends and family members might be that are teachers, if you had to deal with that every day, you'd want to take a month or 2 off as well. Now, I'm not going to tell you that being a teacher is as hard as going out and doing backbreaking labor or putting your life on the line or building skyscrapers. We're not going to go that far. But the burnout is real. And good teachers are leaving. Teachers that are at or near the point where they can qualify for the state pension that, by the way, might not even be there by the time they go to retire. They're all getting out. Why do I bring this up? Because another good friend this week decided he's out. He got a job in the private sector. He's out. There goes another good teacher. Why am I mad? I got an email from the Pennsylvania Department of Education telling me that I need, me, not a teacher anymore, I need to go get continuing education classes, which, by the way, are bullshit. When you get your teaching degree, right, you have a finite amount of time that you have to then go and take 2 graduate classes to keep your certification, get it to level 2 where it like remains in perpetuity as long as you just keep up with your professional development hours. They emailed me to say, you still need to do, I think it was like 30 hours or 60 hours or some nonsense. Or my certificate, my teaching certificate and my principal certificate were going to lapse. I have a certain amount of time. And so I sat back and I thought to myself, do I ever intend on going back to education? I said, no. But then I thought about it. And the way that you have to get your certification back if it lapses is pretty bad. I think it's like, it's multiple grad classes. I remember somebody telling me you have to like redo student teaching, something nonsense, right? So I get this letter and they say, but hey, good news. If you're not teaching anymore, you can put your certification on ice. Not on ice, not that kind of ice. They said you can suspend your certificate indefinitely. You have to go to what's called a voluntarily inactive status with your certification. And I said to myself, what the hell does that mean? It means that I don't have to go get those classes. But if I ever decide that I want to go back to education, I now have to do, I think it's like 1 or 2 college classes again to get my cert back. But at least I don't lose the cert. So I go on to the online portal, which is archaic. I go in, I apply. And as I submit the application, do you know what they gave me? They said, credit card, please. The Department of Education, I haven't taught in 4 years. The Department of Education says, all right, you want to keep your certification? You want to go voluntarily inactive? Credit card. I said, what's there to pay for? $75 fee to suspend my teaching license indefinitely. $75. Now, am I saying $75 is a backbreaking amount? No. But can you imagine in a profession that is losing teachers, right? In a profession that is losing good people who studied for years, who completed their master's degrees, who got additional certifications. You're pushing all those people out. And on the way out the door, you kick them in the ass and say, either lose your cert or pass another $75. You got to be out of your mind. Oh, and by the way, that level 2 cert thing they have to get after you do some college classes, they make you pay again. So you pay for your first certification. You have to then pay out of pocket to go take additional classes to get a level 2 certification. Then you have to pay again to keep that certificate. Do you understand why teachers get so frustrated? Do you understand why the teachers in your life, your friends, your family, why they are miserable? This is only a small microcosm of why. The Pennsylvania Department of Education. Crooks. As Greg Bondarenko says, what a bunch of crooks to take 75. You're damn right. Now, I see a lot of comments in the comments section. People talking about the craziness that teachers are seeing now. I still get texts from colleagues, old colleagues, people who worked in different districts from where I taught. It's insanity. If you had an idea, if you have kids in school right now, if you had any idea the kind of nonsense that's allowed, the kind of things that protected student groups are allowed to do, the kinds of things that kids are able to get away with, it would make you ill. And yet, if you're a teacher, you have to abide by it. You have to follow along. It is insanity. And there is a reason why good teachers are leaving at an unprecedented rate.